Hey YouTubers, what's going on? It's your boy once again, RKO2582. As promised, gonna kick off my personal African American Chronicles series. And the reason I'm doing this is because, it's officially February, and you know what that means. It's Black History Month, among other things like Valentine's Day, but most importantly, Black History Month. And I thought to myself, like, what should I do to show my appreciation for February? And I thought to myself that, well, since I love wrestling so much, why not make like a 5-part mini series? Talking about my favorite African American wrestlers that I enjoyed back in the day and currently, the ones that made me damn proud to be an African American. You know what I'm saying? So, if you didn't know by the title, guess who I'm gonna kick off this African American Wrestler Chronicles series with? Boom, boom, boom. Kofi Kingston. Oh yeah. I've been wanting to talk about this guy for a long, long time. And whew, man. And so let's not waste any time and get this African American Chronicle Wrestler series underway. How I was introduced to Kofi Kingston. All right. Around late 2007, once they were starting to go into in 2008. The ECW, when it was still around, they were showing these promos hyping up this guy, named Kofi Kingston and stuff. I mean, when I watched these promos, it kind of reminded me, like he was kind of like being like the good version of Carlito. Crazy, call me crazy, right? But instead, trying to diss people and stuff. He's actually saving people, like helping them when he's in trouble, and he has that way he closed out saying, "Looks like there was trouble in paradise." So funny and cheesy kind of thing, but I still liked it and stuff. Yeah, but I have a friend of mine, Luke. Along with the promo of these W, he actually showed me a match on YouTube that around the time when WWE had the developmental territory called Deep South Wrestling here in Atlanta. Yeah, before it was defunct, and around the time he was still there, he was called Kofi Nahashi Kingston, and he was going up against T.J. Wilson, or as you know him as Tyson Kidd. And I thought this match was fantastic. It was a good match. I mean, I enjoyed it. And I knew from that point on I was going to be a Kofi Kingston fan for sure. And I was so happy I watched this match way before his real one in ECW. And it was awesome. And I enjoyed everything about it. And he was kicking ass up, even though the jobber was kind of, making him look bad. But at the same time, Kofi bounced back, trying to make it look good. I mean, he was jumping real high and stuff. He was on the boom drop, that elbow. It was just amazing in that. And then he called it Jamaican buzzsaw kick, or which we now know the Trouble in Paradise kick. It's amazing. And that's how I was introduced to Kofi Kingston. My favorite matches of Kofi Kingston. Alright, my first favorite match of Kofi Kingston so far was during his ECW run when he went up against Shelton Benjamin in an Extreme Rules match. And this wasn't bad. I enjoyed it very much. And this pretty much ended the rivalry between Kofi Kingston and Shelton Benjamin. So I was happy Kofi Kingston won that match. And then after he got drafted to Raw in the same year in 2008, his very first match as a Raw superstar, he went up against Chris Jericho as a surprise opponent to face him for the Intercontinental Championship. I marked out when I heard Kofi's music when I watched Night Champions 2008, and thank God I own this pay-per-view on DVD. It's one of my favorite matches on the card. And Kofi Kingston was doing awesome. I mean, he was really, giving Jericho a run for his money. And And of course, towards the end, Shawn Michaels interrupting and then distracted there. And then that's all Kofi needed. Bam, Trouble in Paradise, 1, 2, 3, and I was marking out big time. And he was only in the company for about 6 months, and he won his first championship in the WWE, and I marked out. I was so happy for him. And I thought, oh man, this is so epic. I mean, and he got it on his first chance. You gotta be kidding me. That's amazing. Amazing. And then, of course, Kofi Kingston and CM Punk, who is your current WWE champion, and they were facing off against Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase, or at the time, Crisis Legacy, or whatever you want to call them. They facing for the World Tag Team titles, like around late October 2008, and this was a good match too. And I never would have thought Kofi Kingston and CM Punk would become World Tag Team champions. I mean, let alone be partners, but I heard that they were good friends in real life, and they were um, travel buddies along with that. So it worked pretty well, and I enjoyed it. So they were a good team, yeah, for a while. And then Kofi Kingston going up against my other guy, Bolin, MVP for the U.S. Championship. And I like that little promo they did before the match. It was like, trying to be all cool to one another, and then trying to insult and stuff. And then I have to say, this match on that evening's Raw on June the 1st, 2009, I thought that was the best match of the whole card overall. For a moment I thought MVP was gonna, still be U.S. champion, but Kofi Kingston does a cradle out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3, your winner and new U.S. champion, Kofi Kingston. I was marking out. I was surprised because I did not expect Kofi Kingston to win the U.S. title just like he did the Intercontinental title on his first try, and that was just amazing. And I like the class of sportsmanship between MVP and Kofi Kingston, because I thought at the time, MVP kind of helped Kofi out because he needed that championship, and I thought at the time MVP was going to go for the WWE title, like on the main event scene, but boy, I was wrong with that. But for a moment, I thought, yeah, he was helping Kofi Kingston out, and I appreciate MVP for that. Our next match was Team Kingston going up against Team Orton at Survivor Series 2009. And I love this match. I really enjoyed it. I was happy Kofi Kingston was a captain. And this was coming off during his, what I thought was going to be his main event push. And then, and of course, Christian, I have to say, Team Kofi Kingston. 4 of us is black and 1 of us is white. What's up? Christian was too stupid. But I mean, yeah, I'm surprised they realized that. But it was awesome though. And then once it got towards the end of the match, you had Kofi Kingston against CM Punk and Randy Orton. And within 10 seconds, he eliminated them both quick. And especially when he pinned Orton as the final team member, the crowd popped big time. I cannot imagine. Oh my god, it was insane. And I thought from that point, I'm like, Kingston's ready, man. He is so ready. Yeah, but I'll get to the next part why I was very mad with the results. But next, in the final match that I like so far of Kofi Kingston was back in 2009 with Over the Limit when he faced Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. I thought this was a very, very good match. And I mean, this was around the time, Drew McIntyre was the chosen one. And then this is when, Kofi Kingston won that tournament, Drew McIntyre was stripped from the title. And then Drew McIntyre was handed the title back to him on a silver platter, which I really hated. But thank God Kofi Kingston proved how strong he was. He wasn't going to let that stop him. And he beat him, too. And I enjoyed the match, too. And I'm happy he ended with SOS, another good move he used. That's very creative for him. And now, you know it's coming, the D push. Oh yeah, the D push. Remember, like I said, during my favorite matches after Survivor Series 2009 and going into early 2010, Kofi Kingston was over like hell. You understand? He was almost getting up to like Cena territory over. I call me crazy, but that's what it felt like. And then when they had the triple threat match, him, Cena, Orton for number one contender spot for the WWE Championship going up against Sheamus at the Royal Rumble here in Atlanta in 2010. Just when it was getting to the end and stuff, Kingston and Cena were actually doing pretty good. It was surprised got Cena out of the equation so that way he could focus on Randy Orton and stuff. And then once Legacy got involved, and I think Kofi kind of messed up. It wasn't even that bad of a botch. But Orton, being Randy Orton, he was all pissed, and then he RKO's him stiffly, and then of course the infamous stupid. And then after that, yep, Kofi Kingston was officially de-pushed, and he was stuck in mid-card pretty much for up until currently. And yeah, and this really hurt me a lot, and in so many ways. For one, if you want to know why I have a huge dislike Randy Orton, that was pretty much the final straw for that. Just to let everyone know that why I'm not a Randy Orton fan, watch that match. You'll see why. And it almost took him, 2 years just to get him back up again, with the whole air boom situation. But that's dead in the water. Yeah, and then recently, which I'll get to in my final part, people will start talking about him again, with the Royal Rumble this past Sunday night and with that handstand. So my favorite highlights. Oh yeah. Alright, remember WrestleMania 25 or the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, even though it really wasn't. Just for marketing purposes. But enough about that. Oh, remember the Money in the Bank ladder match? Remember when Kofi Kingston was climbing up that ladder like a gazelle when the ladder was folded up and stuff? That was insane. Tell me you were not marking out when that happened. And then later on that year, late 2009, Kofi Kingston, while he was brawling with Randy Orton after he made the save from Roddy Piper, he did a super boom drop, which was awesome as heck. And the MSG, he won over the MSG crowd, which is really hard to do because New York is one of those crowds. They're really tough. But Kofi Kingston passed with flying colors. And then another Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania 26. This time he used the ladders as stilts, even though it was broken and stuff. That was just genius on Kofi's part. And then in the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, 2010, he did a super boom drop from the top of the ladder onto Drew McIntyre of all people, and it was amazing. And like I said earlier, the recent highlight of Kofi, which people are still buzzing about, I hope so. The Royal Rumble 2012 handstand save from being eliminated. Last year with John Morrison, saving himself, being the human Spider-Man and all, like jumping off the barricade and then jumping back on the steps. Well, this year Kofi had his somewhat of a Jomo moment. Once Miz was trying to eliminate Kofi, and then Kofi had a handstand, I was like, oh, please don't fall. And then he got up onto the steps. I was like, woo, what a save! And the crowd popped for him because they were like, Kofi. And I was thinking like they should give him the world title just for that. Or let him win the Rumble on that alone. That was just insane, but that was just me, But, yeah, those were my personal favorite highlights of Kofi Kingston. Overall, Kofi Kingston, no matter what you say about him, whether you like him or not, you can't deny he's an energetic, charismatic individual inside that ring, or as Michael Cole, I hate his guts, control frenzy. Yeah, because he's awesome, and I think sometimes I think Kofi's kind of underrated at times. But luckily for me, I've been supporting Kofi Kingston from day one. Even when people count him out, I'm still always got his back and stuff. And I just like watching Kofi Kingston. He's awesome and stuff, and I hope I meet him someday. Well, that's all the time I have for the first edition of the African American Wrestler Chronicles series, and tune in next Wednesday when I talk about Mr. 305 himself, Montel Bontavious Porter, MVP. And go up to the description box and sub to Kyle enjoys wrestling. The reason I chose him is because he sees Kofi Kingston the way I see him. He sees a lot of talent in him, and I appreciate Kyle enjoys wrestling for that. And I'm a huge fan of his. I mean, if you have not seen his videos, you will be blown away because it's amazing he doesn't have more subscribers than he already does. Because he's very ingenious with his stuff. So once again, Kyle enjoys wrestling. Go up to the description box and sub to him. And until next week, 365 Black, and take care.